Feel the rhythm of the streets, neon lights and neon dreams. Bloody face, they feel no pain when there's so much more to gain. Hunting season, if you will, tell me where'd you rather be? I can hardly see the moon, but we'll get there pretty soon. Trying so hard to release you out of the misery. Hold on to your wishes if you can't hold on to me. Forgive me for letting you down. Forgive me for letting you down again. I guess I'm not strong enough right now. I'm not strong enough right now. Forgive me for letting you down. Forgive me for letting you down again. I guess I'm not strong enough right now. Oh my.
Wake the fuck up, samurai. We have a city to burn.
Hello, everybody out there in YouTube land. This is your T-shirted historian, and it's actually been a pretty good week overall. You know, I can't find a whole lot to bitch about today, which is a good thing because, you know, when I started the week in Geek, I didn't want to do a lot of hate bait as far as as what we talk about. Because it's easy. It's easy to cruise on the negative side and just look at everything that sucks and just comment on how much it sucks. Okay, I mean, on the one hand, you know, it's nice because if you're complaining about something, that means you care. Because if you didn't care, you wouldn't bother to complain with it. You'd just ignore it. You'd go on and you know, you deal with your lack of passion for it like it was, you know, like it was nothing, you know. It's like I don't particularly enjoy mowing a lawn. Do I hate it? Well, yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say that makes me passionate about it. I mean, it's just a case of it's a chore. I don't like it. But it has to be done. That's work. That's a little bit different. But like say Star Wars, right? I'm past the point of caring. I mean, yeah, we'll still bring up Star Wars stuff and we'll still talk about it, and it still kind of hurts to see, how much further they're going to degrade the franchise. But deep down, I'm kind of past caring about it. It doesn't bother me as much. I mean, it's like I'll bring it up because other people are interested in hearing about it, but I'm honestly sort of past it. It's more like a subject of derision at this point, not something to really discuss with any degree of enjoyment or critical appraisal. But yeah, I mean, generally everything has been pretty good this week. There hasn't been a whole lot to complain about. I've had a really decent week. We'll talk a lot about it today on the show. I hate to make it the me show, but it kind of might end up being that way because I had so many decent things happen this week that I think that aspects of it will be worth talking about with my guests. So speaking of guests, let me introduce you. First off is my buddy Grim. We've been in constant communication all week pretty much. And I'm really happy that he's my friend. I am.
Shushy big.
Yeah. Love you, man.
English. We don't do emotions. Next.
Yep. We have Mr. Dying Breed.
Hello.
We have Mr. Dying Breed. Hope you catch my name. Pleased to meet you. And we have Mr. Ryan.
Yo.
Oh, thank you, Hell. That's the nicest compliment I could ever have. Yeah, don't mean to be off topic, but you sound a lot younger than I expected. Well, yeah, I'm blessed that way, I guess. I don't look my age either, but
got to buy him dinner first, Hell.
Here in a couple of months, I'm going to be turning 50. So, yeah.
You're a youngin'. You're a kid.
To some people, I am.
Yeah, to me.
Yeah.
Well, not really. I'm not that far ahead of you.
Galstaff, it's good to see you, buddy. Thoth and Snorty Bear, you guys. Happy to see you. Alchemical Rakers, good to see you. Just a passerby. Hey, I actually got to meet you last week. That's pretty cool. Joe Grognard. Yeah, you're right. Constant negativity gets old real fast. Brian Heffelfinger, good to see you, buddy. What else do we have? Fiegel. Hey, Fiegel. Yeah. Star Wars is kind of dead to me, too, at this point. I mean.
Hey, we're being positive, right?
We are. Right. You might dip as well because you're doing history homework. You need to tune in, Ryan, because you'll get some history tidbits from me. It'd be fun to add to your stuff.
Yeah, you can ask us history questions, and we'll deliberately give you the wrong answers.
Yes, with urine.
Yes. To do with urine.
Especially if it has to do with urine. Awesome ones. Good to see you. Low spec Linux laptops. Good to see you, Jeff. Mercurius. Hey, good to see you, buddy. I love the Roman name. Rex Teal. Good to see you too, buddy. Ryan, you said, are the George Lucas rumors true? I don't know, to be quite honest.
I've got an opinion on that, but go ahead.
I do too. I'm willing.
I have a reality opinion on that.
Yeah,
exactly.
I respectfully think that it's bullshit. Because honestly, I think he's too old to care at this point. I don't really think he wants it back. I don't think he wants to deal with it. And if he did, how would he fix it anyway? I mean, would he just say like, none of it's gonna happen? Yeah, Six says they're not true. Yeah, I didn't think they were either. I thought it was bullshit. So
yeah,
there's no way.
I didn't even respectfully think it was bullshit.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna buy it back.
No.
Yep. And hey, Mac.
Hello.
Good to see you, buddy.
Let's see. So what's
It's
this
all
with
a-
the Lucas one to buy back?
Disney.
My bad, Star Wars.
It ain't true. It's
Nah.
bullshit. There's no way.
They
No way.
paid him a shit ton of money. Why is he going to give it back at this stage of his life?
Yeah.
He sold it. He sold it to slavers, and he wants to buy it back from slavers.
No, he's not gonna buy it back. He doesn't want it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Mercurius Autolycus is actually an English Civil War reference. Okay, Grim, why didn't you tell me?
Because I'm very tired. It's warm.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, you're right, Joe Grognard. Who would want it? Who would want it?
I can see one reason why he might want to, because it would be worth a hell of a lot less than they paid him for it, right? So it just might be nice to turn the screw and like buy it back the tuppence halfpenny, just to fuck with.
and I think that's the thing is that even if he does buy it back, the damage is done. Like,
Well,
the
I don't
damage is
know.
done.
Well, okay. Well, see, that's the weird disconnect with Star Wars fans. You say that, but I almost 100% guarantee you, if they announced that George Lucas was buying the franchise back and was starting to create a new Star Wars movies, that film would jam the theaters because everybody would want to see it.
I mean, in terms of just kind of story, lore, continuity, world, the damage that Disney made has basically been irreversible.
Nah, it's not. This is George Lucas in a really weird, strangely canonical way. It would. I think what would happen is the same thing that Disney did with the EU. I think if Lucas came back, he would pick up the series right where Return of the Jedi left off.
Mm-hmm.
And it would just completely disregard every piece of Disney canon that there is.
So not relying on the whole veil the Force theory.
No, I don't think he. Well, for one thing, I don't think he would want to, and for another thing, I don't think he would do it.
I disagree.
We open on a cave in Tatooine, right? The camera pans across. Luke Skywalker is sitting in meditation, right? And the camera comes close to his face, and he opens his eyes and goes, "So, that's what would have happened if I'd gone crazy and attacked Ben Solo."
Exactly.
It's like David Duchovny in Dallas. At the end, it's just all a dream.
I seriously don't think it would happen. I mean, it would be cool if he did buy it back. It would be cool if he did pick up the series and run it again, because I think people would love it again. I think it would bounce back if Lucas got it.
What short memories do we have?
Right.
I remember living through the hate that the prequel movies had, right?
Oh yeah, I do
And
too.
that's Lucas.
Yes, it is.
So
That was my point.
Okay, this is true, but let's also remember that Disney put out 3 films that actually made us turn around and look at the prequels and say, those are good.
And I would argue that, and I still make this argument, is that yes, for bad as many people said about the prequels, it didn't do the irreversible damage that the sequel trilogy did.
Yeah.
It didn't do the irreversible damage. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, yes, there was some stupid shit in the prequels. I mean, somebody dying from a broken heart and all that, but
Yeah,
but that doesn't change the Holdo maneuver. It doesn't change how Luke Skywalker was depicted.
No.
I still think that Rian Johnson did more damage in one film than Lucas or anybody ever did.
But there is some
lifespan of the franchise.
There is some irreversible damage that can't be fixed, and that is
that's what I'm saying.
No, I mean I'm looking beyond that. I'm looking at it with a different eye than you are, because there's one piece of irreversible damage that can't be fixed. It can't be retconned. It can't be brought back, no matter what you do, and that is Carrie Fisher's dead.
Right.
She'll never appear in another Star Wars film.
Right.
So that's just, it is what it is.
The only thing
Didn't I see something about recasting Leia as well at the same time the George Lucas rumors were going around?
I don't know.
They can do something like that with They could do something like that with Fury 7 and have if they want to bring Leia in, that's kind of cool. If they want to bring Leia
this is the
in,
one redeeming thing that George Lucas can do, and that is canonize Darth Jar Jar.
make Darth Jar Jar secretly the hero. Somehow you just like.
There's a great video that we can't show because you will get claimed that it's about 8 minutes long, that is every clip from the movie that supports Darth Jar Jar in context. I encourage everyone to go find it. It is the absolutely most coherent theory from the prequel films and it's very clear, the point where all the Jar Jar hate, which I don't understand because I was all right with Jar Jar, but all the Jar Jar hate, once that point happened and the voices were loud, because we know that never happens, nerds never have loud voices, then it made a sudden left turn and diverted. That very likely could have been a reality, and it would have been so cool. Sidious's master.
And I want to reiterate one thing again. The hate towards Jar Jar, or the hate towards the actor that played Jar Jar, that was not on the fans. That was the media.
Good.
Well,
excellent point, Mac.
I just want to say, as the oldest one here, you guys are going to give me a stroke.
Sorry.
I should also point out too that for whatever you want to say about Ahmed Best, I do have to say that he managed to milk a really nice career out of complaining about his character, because look what it got him. It kept his name in the headlines for all these years. He got shows in Star Wars again. He got voice work doing Robot Chicken and all this.
Yep.
So for Ahmed Best to be bitching about all the misery that Jar Jar brought him, he made bank on it too.
He was able to make it work. He was able to make it work from it.
Yeah,
so I have no ill will or hate towards that at all. So
I seriously wish I could make as much money off of bitching about a job I did as he did. Okay,
got to be worth a shot. The Leia recast would be in Filoni's movie, if that's still going ahead.
And I agree with Jace. It was just stupid. There was just some bad, stupid stuff, but it never damaged the lore at all in the prequels. It never felt like it was just like it didn't take you out of it.
Yeah,
Nick, you think it's a bad take? I'm sorry, I'm just answering. Six thinks that you think that's a bad take on my part. Well, okay, I mean,
because I will stand by and say that I think one of the best things about Episode 1 is the world building. Granted, when you got to the politics side, it was just kind of more on the boring side. But I did like what Lucas was trying to set up.
What world building?
I remember a 30-minute advertisement for the Pod Racer video game, but that's about
about
it.
I mean, what real world building did he do? I mean, he established that there was a world called Naboo, and then everything else took place on Tatooine.
Sure.
So kind of like this is old ground,
right?
not much world building there,
right? But it did proceed through 2 and 3, though. It's still
okay. 6, yeah, I did claim that he milked it, and that's rude due to the depression costume. Okay, I get that too. But I mean, I'm just stating a fact. I mean, the guy did manage to turn it around and profit by it. A lot of other actors have done bad films that they have, been, criticized for, or for their portrayals, or for the film itself. And they may have gotten depressed over it, but they did not have as severe a reaction, or at least not as a media publicized reaction as Ahmed Best. And most of them went on to do other films and had a career. I'm not always saying that was successful, but I mean, they had a career.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, you look at De Niro. He's had stinkers, and he moved on. Not that I'm philosophically aligned with his politics, but when we think of great actors of our time, there have been some terrible Robert De Niro movies. So,
and I agree with Just a Passerby. I don't acknowledge anything that happened in Kenobi, though.
Yeah, I realized he was trying to get work. He has bills to pay like everyone else, and everyone's different. Yes, I understand that, Six. I'm not criticizing him. I'm just stating a fact, though. I mean, he did manage to successfully turn that around and make more money off of it. I mean, but like I was saying, the thing is, other people also had stinker films. In fact, some actors have made a career out of making low-budget stinker films. And they still manage to get work all the time. I mean, look at Michelle Rodriguez. I mean, she pretty much plays the same character in every single film that she plays in. And she doesn't care.
Several years ago, Michael Caine got like a Lifetime Achievement Award or something on some awards program. And I remember, and I don't remember the exact quote, so I'm going to paraphrase, but it was essentially he got up on stage and said, I've been in this business a long time and I've made a lot of crap. And that was an exact quote. And then, but I've also made a lot of things that I'm really proud of. I think that's kind of anybody that's going to get into that field and be successful at it has to start somewhere. When, you wind up with, Matthew McConaughey doing a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie.
Oh yeah, I have that one.
That stuff's going to happen.
Michael Caine to me is still the best Alfred next to
you're trying to get work, you're trying to get stuff on your resume, you're trying to take the opportunities that you do get, however small they are, and try to show your acting chops. I mean, I think it's just kind of part of the deal. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, it's just like anything else, man. It's like, okay, yeah, you get beat down, you roll with the punches, you keep going. You don't just stop and get entrenched in feeling bad because of one thing. But anyway, whatever, man. We're not here to just shit all over Star Wars or anything else. I mean, because that's just not what I want to do. Like I said, I don't really care about Star Wars at this point anymore. If they do sell it to somebody else, hey, kudos.
I'm sorry, Ephraim Zimbalist Jr. That was the voice of Alfred in Batman.
Thanks.
Sorry.
I think Kane and Pertwee were the best Alfreds. Both, London. From London 10.
I really liked, what was his name? Michael Gough. I thought he was great, but he was a very austere Alfred. But no, some of the good stuff that happened this week, and it's worth talking about, is I saw the first Marvel movie in the theater that I have ever seen, and I'm not exaggerating, since Avengers Endgame.
Okay.
I literally have not seen a single Marvel movie in the theater with popcorn since Avengers Endgame. And I saw that in the theaters twice.
And what film was that?
Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
I figured.
Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
I thought you were going to say Spider-Man.
No. I'm going to wait for that one to come to DVD, I think. But yeah, DVD? I saw Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Yes.
Okay.
Why?
No, I was like, you could probably just get like the Blu-ray DVD combo set.
Well, that's what I mean. Don't sharpshoot me, McEnany.
Sorry. Shutting up.
Your autism is showing, sir. But yeah, I saw Guardians of the Galaxy 3 and I really enjoyed it. I did. I thought it was a really good film. It was a nice send-off for the Guardians of the Galaxy. It really felt kind of somber and sad throughout most of it. And
from what I've heard, and Jace has pointed out that Adam Warlock was a complete waste. And
he was okay. I mean, he kind of added to the general hilarity of the show, and he had, it was kind of an interesting way to introduce his character. Now, I was sitting with my friends who are a bit older than me and also very hardcore comic nerds, and all they could do the entire time was bitch and bitch and bitch and bitch about how they didn't like Adam Warlock, how they thought he was stupid, How they thought the High Evolutionary was dumb and he wasn't correct as he was in the comics and everything else. And I turned around and I told him, said, look, guys, none of these comic book to screen adaptation characters are gonna be like they are in the comics. Even the fucking Punisher, my favorite character, is not the same in the shows, in the movies, as he is in the comic books.
Can I
Thanos
ask a
was not
question when
the
you
same.
guys get done?
Yeah.
Oh, just whenever you finished. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I just
No, you're good.
want
Go
to
ahead.
make sure I get this in here. So, do you think that there is a prevalence for people to just be overly critical of everything these days?
Is it your first day on the internet?
I kind of do. I mean, it's like I saw, Critical Drinkers review and some other people's review, and it's like, and I respect those guys. I absolutely do. I love them. They're fun. I want them to come on the show. God damn it. But yeah, at the same time, it was kind of like you're pointing way too hard of a focus on a show which is clearly just made for fun, more or less.
Yeah, I mean, I think I see it personally, but it's something more than just, as my boss says, first day on the internet. It's beyond that. I think it's nobody wants to like anything anymore.
Yeah, that might be.
So criticism of video games kind of went through that. Started out, it was in purely technical magazines, and it was all about the specifications, right? And then it was all the happy-go-lucky, Nintendo power. Yay, new games out! Look at this, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Then in the 90s, it was everything is shit. Then it was everything is sexist, racist, whatever, and we're kind of still in that
that
groove.
was in the mid to late 2010s.
Yeah. So it goes through these phases. But I think people have been beaten and whipped like a cur for such a long time now that they kind of anticipate the whip, right? The way a dog anticipates the dinner bell. So I think,
and a lot of it is, and I think I agree, and I think you do make a good point, and I think a lot of it is just that you really have to take it as, how does this affect you? How does this little things, do it ruin your experience? Do they enhance your experience? How does it affect you specifically? And I think ultimately that's kind of where the most importantly is, you don't base your enjoyment or base your kind of how you see it as based off just, so much on, whoever says it or whoever's opinion on the internet or something, just kind of how you see it yourself, if you want to just kind of go in and want to enjoy it. I think the ultimate, we can be critical. We can always be critical. Everybody's the internet is critical, but the thing that I will always parrot Coach Casino is, don't let us yuck in your yum. Meaning that we're not, even for as critical as we are something, the last thing that we want to do is ruin your experience.
Yeah, I think that's the difference between the two communities of critics. I mean, obviously, it's spoiled T-shirts experience just because he was listening to them bitching, but I don't think they were setting out to or saying that you couldn't enjoy it necessarily, right? I think there's something particular to fandoms and particularly superhero movies,
right?
Because they were shit up until X-Men, right? And that was because they kept changing things and like gratuitously, not following the comics at all, or not representing the characters well. Then there was like this switch over that happened, after the first few X-Men movies, where suddenly it seemed like the filmmakers did care about the canon. They did care about the characters. And that's when everything went right. And now it's going against that again with all the race and gender swapped characters and trampling over canon and, disparaging older fans, all of that stuff that goes on. So it's returning to that pre-X-Men sort of state. I think.
X-Men state, yeah.
I
I
think
honestly credit I credit the Blade movie with honestly kind of throwing the comic book filmmakers on their ear because
yeah, I would say
excuse me.
Sorry.
Let me finish. Thank you.
Sorry.
Something about that film, the fact that it was R-rated and it was still pulling people in and people were enjoying it and it was making, decent money. I don't remember what the actual box offices and all that stuff were. I mean, somebody could look it up if they really wanted to.
I will.
But I think Blade was kind of like the turning point in comic book movies where the comic book companies kind of started figuring it's like, hey, if we do this the right way, we actually start seeing a return on this rather than all the crap that we used to make that went, straight to video most of the days.
So Blade made 70 million domestic and doubled that international in the cinemas. So
on what kind of budget?
I will have to look that up separately.
Okay.
Just real quick, I just want to say I'm not, and T-shirt, you've said it before on this show. Opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one.
Sure.
I'm not saying that people aren't entitled to their opinion. If you're critical of something, you legitimately think it's crap, then that's fine. I was doing it 10 minutes ago with Lucas. But
Kyle, here's the thing. There's the point, and I don't know where. We can't put our finger on it, where criticism became contempt. We couldn't take criticism. We started to internalize this. I'm not shoveling shit, but look at my week this week. Criticism isn't always angst or contempt. It's, hey, this is how I feel. This is what's going on. This is my perception of the matter. And specifically with our fandoms, there was a big tipping point where you couldn't criticize without being all the way against 100%.
Right.
Rattling the sabers, getting the troops together, running down the road. And that's fucking bullshit.
No,
you were all in or you were all out.
There will always be that. There will always be that. There will always be that part of the internet, and there will always be those people out there who criticize because they love what they saw, but they can see where it can be better, where they can see it go better, where say something that you really liked the first time around, and you can see where they need to improve on, say, the sequel or the follow-up to make sure that it hits that same note. Not just hit the same thing, or it's just as good.
Blade's budget, by the way, was 45 million.
So it did well.
I did absolutely destroyed it.
Since just kind of as I was coming in, I was catching a little bit at the tail end there of talking about the being faithful to the comics. In the last decade, Marvel in particular had basically the people in charge of the comics. Your Kelly Sue Comics, your there's so many names escape me.
Joe Quesada's, we can probably list them off, but
Brian Michael Bendis.
Yep,
Bendis. Bendis.
They were going in. It was to kind of challenge some of the arguments. If you're not being faithful to the source material, you had attempts to go and then effectively change the source material to be able to, down the road where we're at now, justify all the changes they're doing. That's why back in 2014, Sam Wilson was made Captain America. That's why you had Jane Foster become Thor. It was purposely to do these things because they were effectively the comics were used as a testing ground to. Well, not even that. They weren't even used as a testing ground. They were using them as a seedbed to put in the ideas they wanted to eventually do with the movies because these people saw Hollywood as the end goal.
Mm-hmm.
What really bakes my noodle, though, is that everything that you just said, right? They put it into the comics, and it failed hard. And then they went ahead and did it in the films anyway. It's like,
and I'll do you one better, Grim and Ironcaster, is that not only just what you said, Ironcaster, but a lot of comics that we were seeing and that we're still seeing now, a lot of those stuff, you can tell that they were written solely as a Netflix pitch.
Yes. In fact,
A Netflix pitch or a movie pitch.
In fact, a lot of people,
Instead of
there
not
were
being as a
a lot of people that were going into the realm of comic books with their failed Hollywood pitch to then turn around and put into a comic, basically to use
Bacon cream. Sorry.
There's a legitimate program at NYU right now where you can leverage comics into multimedia, i.e., TV and movies. Right. So it's a theory. It's out there. People are doing it, and I think that it's one industry scratching the other's back, regardless of profit or fans, because unfortunately, and we all know there's guys that I would consider friends. Why the hell did you go see this? Here, I'll use a non-comic movies so I don't shit on anyone's favorites here. Why the hell did you go and see the Dungeons and Dragons movie? Well, my family decided that they wanted to see it, so I went and saw it. It's the same thing with Marvel, the same thing with DC, the same thing with the other stuff. Just because it's there, it's going to get traffic. It's going to at least break even.
But
as long as they break even, they'll continue to churn them out.
Right, and what we're seeing with Disney right now, specifically, is that same audience, the normie movie-going audience, is starting to catch on what's going on right now, what's going on behind the scenes, and how Disney's, tarnishing their record, tarnishing their legacy, to not and to making regular moviegoers, people who are not so tied on the internet as we are, not interested in wanting to go see the next Disney film.
I think there's some truth to that. I think it's shifting that way, Mac. But I'm not 100% convinced we're quite there yet. Yeah, we're like the pendulum swinging back.
We're going into an election cycle. This next year is going to be really fun once the writers' strike is over.
Oh yeah.
I was going to bring that up. That's one of the things that I think is good. That if we are going to see a course correction of any sort, I think you're going to see the writer's strike being used to justify getting out of a lot of really bad decisions they made when they were trying to really virtue signal. So, for example, J.J. Abrams, $500 million first look deal.
DC and such like that.
I don't know though. The producers was written because it's true, right? You can make more money with a failure than with a success in some cases.
Hence Erie Bowl. So
we see in Iron Castle, that with the comic industry failing upwards,
because it's easier to just promote them to get rid of them than having to actually deal with the problem.
And we're seeing this on a grander scale right now with everything with Target, Bud Light, and such like that. It's like companies are like, it's like no. Let me just bring this in. What I'm saying is that you see this now it's like everybody's kind of put into a bind. It's like, what's more important, tailoring, making money, wanting to make money, or wanting to get that ESG score and such like that,
which leads to money. So
which does lead to money.
Can I just bring us back round quickly to the critics thing, and then let T-shirt set the agenda again. So I think there is a major split in criticism, which gets back to what Dying Breed was talking about. So you've got people who say, I don't like this media product. It is not to my liking, not to my taste. Here are my reasons why. I don't think it's a good example of the craft because of X, Y, Z. Right. And then you've got people who criticize it on whatever ideological grounds. I would put someone like Sarkeesian and someone like Ben Shapiro in the same category. They're really, they're giving things political shit tests. But they also seem to feel this need to justify their criticism by making out that it's this huge societal problem that needs to be addressed, like patriarchy on the one hand, or cultural Marxism on the other. And it's horseshit. That's not criticism. That is an attempt to politicize everything.
The Eternals save lives.
Right, and Little Mermaid, it made all little black girls feel represented.
Did it though?
Where's my opium?
No, but you make a good point, and it's just like, we can criticize one side, but I'm on the fence that I'm willing to criticize both sides on this, because the last thing, I don't know about you guys, but the last thing I want is to have that pendulum just completely swing over to the other side, because it's going to be the same thing over and over again.
Well, give us the good shit, not the bullshit. Go on, T-shirt.
That's the nature of pendulum shifts, is the fact that they go both directions eventually.
Yep.
But just to kind of, as I was originally trying to say, give you kind of my opinion on Guardians of the Galaxy 3. It was 3 hours, I guess, or whatever. Okay. My friend said it was way too long, and I was like, bullshit. I could have stayed for another hour or so, because I thought the special effects were fun. The humor was mostly pretty good. There were a couple of times when they interjected humor during some, very somber moments. But overall, man, I thought it was good. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a nice, end cap for Guardians of the Galaxy. And, the way that they let it go, there's kind of like, Guardians of the Galaxy isn't going to end. It's just going to go on with a new team. And Star-Lord's probably going to get his own Disney Plus series. But, overall, Guardians of the Galaxy, all three of those films are pretty much the one set of Marvel movies that I could take almost independently of the entire Marvel universe, the entire MCU.
Right.
I mean,
can I say something quick?
Go.
So I totally agree with you, T-shirt. I haven't seen the third Guardians of the Galaxy. I've seen the first two. Mm-hmm. I liked them. Now, that being said, I don't know a whole lot about the comic book series, so I'm coming at it pretty much from a mainstream audience kind of view. But I will say this: my wife is like anti-nerd. It's like we are opposites, and she's not into any of this stuff. She doesn't like superhero movies. She doesn't like horror. She doesn't like any of that. She loved both the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. So that tells you something right there about its appeal.
And it tells you that
she'll like this one too, I think.
And it tells you that there's not a lot of MCU films that are able to stand so strong on its own. Like, you could mention the Guardians films. I will always mention Captain America, Winter Soldier. And there's only a handful of MCU films that are strong on its own, or just that they could be just standalone films.
Yeah, that is probably pretty much true. I mean, definitely the Avengers, you're going to want to see all the other stuff that goes into it. But yeah, the Guardians films pretty much stand on their own. They're so independent of the rest of the Marvel universe, the MCU, that you could watch those. Now, I'm looking at what's coming up ahead, and we got like what, Marvels. I'm like, I'm not going to go see that.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not going to see that. Secret Invasion is slated to start. I'm not going to watch that. So I guess I'm going to go back into seclusion from Marvel films until another one pops up that catches my interest. But so far, I ain't seeing anything on the horizon that's really rustling my jimmies any. So
I think the only thing really that I think most people are going to be looking forward to is Deadpool 3, and that's like winter of next year.
Okay. It's funny you would mention Deadpool, okay? Because on the trip home, my friend, same one that was bitching about the High Evolutionary, bitching about the length of the Guardians of the Galaxy 3, was talking about, I hope Disney is forced to sell off Marvel. And I'm like, are you crazy? Who would they sell it to? Oh, well, maybe Sony.
Exactly.
Maybe Sony will buy it. And look at what a great job Sony did with Marvel. And I'm like, you have to be fucking kidding me, right? What do you mean? The Sony's done great things with Marvel products. And I'm like,
you've never seen Morbius, have you?
I was getting there.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Sorry. Punchline.
Yeah, I was going to say, Morbius, New Mutants, what was it? Deadpool 2 was shit. Venom, the first Venom was okay. The second one was not so great. So it's not necessarily that Sony can necessarily take these products any better than Disney can. They just got lucky. And of course, everybody's going, oh, what about the Spider-Man films? What about Spider-Man? I'm like, those were a joint production with Marvel. He kept on trying to say, oh no, that was all Sony. That was all Sony. Marvel was right there helping them out with that one too. Okay, don't just give it all to Sony. I mean,
Toby films.
Yeah. So it's like, while Sony might be able to do some good stuff with the Marvel universe, I don't necessarily think it's going to be better than Disney. It'll be different, but
there's not a breakout studio right now either, right? There's no one to sell it to that's going to do something earth-shattering. Whether it's Sony or whether it's Disney, we're going to get the same shit. So
yeah.
And kind of looking at the bigger landscape, I think that the two most obvious people that could potentially do that would, and I don't think it's going to happen, but it'd be Amazon and Apple.
Yeah, and it sounds like Disney wants to be bought by Apple.
Apple would be interesting. I mean, not everything Apple has done has been great, but I really loved C. I didn't watch all of the Foundation, but everybody who's watched it said it's excremental. So
yeah,
their corporate structure is scary, though. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'll hold them as a stock, but I don't want anything to do with their products.
Yeah, and Amazon. I mean, Rings of Power. Need I say more?
Amazon has typically, except until just recently, and Apple too, to a large degree, they've been mostly focused on just licensing. Yeah. I don't know that they have any interest in actually owning the IP.
Now, an interesting company that could pick up all the Marvel titles and probably do something good with it. And I know everybody's going to go like, what? It's either, I would say maybe HBO could do a decent job just because they would be more R-rated.
Still Warner Brothers though, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think they could fuck it up any worse than the DC.
I think you have a good point there, because I think if HBO wasn't under the WB umbrella, I could see them do a Marvel show in the same way that we saw with the Netflix MCU films.
I want HBO 1995 to make it.
Yeah, but I wasn't finished.
Sure.
The other company that could pick it up and everybody would be like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" T-shirt will be Netflix. Now I'm not talking necessarily current year Netflix. If they can get their head out of their asses and swing it back to the other direction, they could bring it back and make it good. I think, because they're for a while there, the Netflix Marvel series were really good and really enjoyable. And I mean, they were taking no-name second-tier characters for the most part. I think Daredevil was their biggest name besides the Punisher. I mean,
I will say this. It's like, they did an excellent job, and I think it would be worth giving them a second chance. But the thing is, you also have to factor in that what the other factor that did make the Netflix stuff work was Jeff Loeb. And Jeff Loeb did have a falling out with Kevin Feige because Feige wouldn't acknowledge everything that the Netflix shows and even Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. wasn't canon.
Yeah, but Jeff Loeb, that's what I'm trying to tell you. If it reverted all back to Netflix, there's no Feige, so Jeff Loeb could get right back in.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we're going to see a big studio buyout anywhere, and there's not that many, studios left. Everything's been consolidated, which is a whole other discussion that would stray into politics, which we don't have time for.
Yeah.
But what you might find is that there is a sub studio or a small group or a particularly talented director or a star who has enough pull, right? Because what we've seen, the stuff that's still good, tends to have someone with a clear vision, and what they're doing within these worlds seems to be set aside a bit. Guardians of the Galaxy stands on its own, right? and Suicide Squad stood on its own. The sequel one, not the first one.
Yeah.
You know, so those are examples of good, and I think Deadpool is good because it can play havoc with all of these characters and so, and it doesn't matter because it's all fourth wall breaking nonsense. Did you know Ryan Reynolds bought a soccer team over here?
Yes, he did, and they did.
Wrexham FC. They're just this small kind of local team, but they beat the US women's team 12-0. 12-0. So I look forward to seeing a rerun of that when the Marvels and Deadpool 3 compare.
You just wait till we get our men on that women's team and we'll kick it.
You see what
I don't follow football, but 12-0. Christ.
Jesus.
I thought it was bad. I also it was bad when they lost to that high school team in Dallas.
Well, that used to be an old joke around here. Is this kind of like it's like at Cowboy Stadium there was the announcement. It's like, would the lady with the 6 children please come get them? They're beating the Cowboys 21-0.
So they're notoriously bad, the Cowboys then.
Well, they had some seasons. They had some seasons.
That's why Homer was disappointed to get the team from Hank Scorpio.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, I get that joke now.
Yeah. I don't even keep up with football, to be quite honest. But I do keep up with MMA, and I watched some really great matches on one last night.
I just want to point out for you, Grim, that joke could have also worked. It could have also been as bad as Homer could have gotten any team from Detroit. Doesn't matter.
Any team from Detroit, you had to pick the Lions.
Take it to Detroit. I need to put that on as a joke, but
the best punchline still would have been the Jets, and I'm just going to leave that right where it is.
I think these days the only ball game they play in Detroit is Jugger.
Oh, nice. A salute to the Jugger reference. I love it. Yeah, I love that movie. But okay. One of the things I was thinking about, getting back to Netflix, and I should probably set this up a little bit. I'm doing a bit of writing for somebody, and
who might that be?
I don't know. Grim, do you have any idea?
It's me.
Yeah, it's a him. I'm kind of revising one of his older works and expanding on it and hopefully making it better, I hope. And I'm really enjoying the process, although I kind of feel like I'm losing my mind in the process a little bit because it's taking me into some very, very dark territory. Because, some of the stuff I'm working with is like, kind of leads you to the conclusion that, human beings are kind of shit.
Humanity is doomed.
No,
I never would have expected that coming from Jim.
Yeah.
That's just one of my lighter games, but it's all his own fault, really.
It is. I took what was basically one of his more hilarious free fan based pieces, and I said, "Fuck that! We're gonna rip all that shit out, and we're gonna turn this into fucking dark." And boy, did I! And I'm still working on it
with sandpaper.
Yeah. We took out the cute ponies and rainbows, and we stuck in the 8 foot tall muscle women with the metal strap-ons. Yeah.
I think this will be good for you, T.
Yeah. Really?
Because because I'm a firm believer in that all people need to at least acknowledge and or confront the darker aspects of their persona.
Oh, well, then I will be happy to let you look at it when it's done.
Yes. The Jungian shadow work, yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's some, you got to be careful, but I think that it's
embrace the darkness.
I can't wait to hear I can't wait to hear some German reviews on this one. Oh yeah, I really loved that, but the T-shirt that historian has done to this book is just amazing. I snorted a fifth of vodka and a little line of hash, and I got my friend Muller to beat me with reeds while I read it, and I was so into it.
That's crazy Germans.
Crazy Germans. But yeah. Anyway, in the process of writing this, I'm having to look at. I'm watching kind of inspiration or putting inspirational stuff on in the background. That's kind of putting my head in the right space, and of course it's all fucking dark.
You got to, man.
Yeah, but one of the things I put on, and I forgot how good it was Altered Carbon.
Nice.
The first season. I haven't got to the second season yet, where it got weird.
I remember you saying that in the chat. I remember you saying that in the chat yesterday.
Yeah, but oh man, the first season of Altered Carbon is good. Now I ordered the books so I can actually read them for myself. But yeah, that first season is really good. There's a lot of really poignant stuff in it. There's some really great, kind of stabs at humanity and what is the nature of consciousness and what are we outside of consciousness in our shells, and some of this book will explore some of that too. But God, I mean, I looked at when that was made was back in 2020. I was like, man, that's when Netflix was still fucking good. Mm-hmm. So what happened? We
all know what happened.
Yeah, we all know what happened.
Yeah, it was called Cowboy Bebop.
But yeah, I mean, it's like if people have not seen the old, 2020 Altered Carbon on Netflix yet, man, go back and watch it. It's much better than you thought it was. And it's darker too, and bloodier, and with lots of boobage.
Could you argue that it was 2020 was definitely like the year of cyberpunk? It was Cyberpunk 2077, but with other properties that kind of invoke that cyberpunk angle.
Well, everybody was kind of leaning on that, and I have to admit I've experienced a sense of Hiraeth while I was watching all this stuff, and the technical term, let me look it up for what Hiraeth is, the meaning of it.
It was like saying hi
the
to
definition. No,
being attacked by a gender-neutral ghost. I think
no. Hiraeth is a term that means homesickness. It's a blend of homesickness, nostalgia, and longing. It is the pull on the heart that conveys a distinct feeling of missing something irretrievably lost. But it also means a place that doesn't necessarily exist. It's a deep inborn sense of yearning for a home, a feeling, a place, a person that is beyond the plane of existence, a place that, that you really want, but it doesn't necessarily have to be there. And the thing is, I get that feeling every time I look at cyberpunk style cities with neon and the blackness and then the giant crazy advertisement and the noise. I love that feeling of immersion whenever I play the Cyberpunk 2077 game. Certain animes will invoke that for me. I want that so bad. I want to be immersed in that kind of place so much, which is funny because I'm kind of a shut-in normally, and I don't like to go out very much. But I feel like I would come alive in a place like that.
Well, speaking of Cyberpunk in 2020, my Meat Space gaming group had this plan that we were going to play Cyberpunk 2020 in 2020 for the whole year. We got one session in, and then the plague. Which, if you think about it, and then we were all stuck at home we're doing everything through the internet. So if you think about it, it's actually the most cyberpunk thing that could have happened.
Yeah, it is kind of. And if you ever decided to run Cyberpunk, Grim, I would happily join. Not necessarily with the ladies, but outside of that.
Well, when I finish the Grim game project, if I stop buying games faster than we play them, then I'll run short campaigns of something.
That doesn't happen, Jim, ever for us.
That never happened.
No, it's more impossible.
Shinatsky, we haven't gotten that Neuromancer movie. We haven't gotten anything close to Neuromancer. And I even started going back and reading Neuromancer again because I missed it. And Cyberpunk, yes.
Johnny Mnemonic is a guilty pleasure. Sorry, go
It
on.
is.
I just wanted to say real quick, until this pendulum shifts, I don't want them to touch Neuromancer. I don't even want them to look. I don't even want them to look in its general
To look
direction.
at its direction, yeah.
Sky
Wait,
above
no,
the
no,
port. The sky above the port was the color of television, tuned to
One of my
a dead
favorite
channel.
books of all time.
I
One of
can't
my
fucking
favorite
quote
books.
it without people interrupting me either. God damn it. I'm just kidding. Yeah, it was. Yeah, that's. I mean, I love Cyberpunk so much, and I'm not quite sure why. I really do. I just feel like I'm more at home there than I am in whatever century we're living in now, and I really feel annoyed because we're in 2023. We didn't get the robots. We didn't get the cybernetics. We didn't get the neon. We didn't get the dark cities. We didn't get the deep space travel. We didn't get the flying cars. We didn't get the dark corporate empires. We didn't get any of the dystopian shit that we wanted.
Wait, T-shirt, what do you mean we didn't get the dark corporate empires?
What are you talking about? Yeah.
Okay, well, these suck.
we got them. You just can't mention them on
You wanna
YouTube,
put-
or the robots will come
Okay,
for you.
what
okay.
T-shirt wants is a corpo war. He wants an actual huge corpo war for this to happen.
Exactly, and yeah, Shanatsky, yeah, you have my idea in mind, yeah. And speaking of which, good things that happened this week. Yes, I watched Grimm's Tabletopless this week, and he ran Cyberpunk, and I enjoyed it. I mean, I enjoy all of his Tabletopless games pretty much, but I really love it when he runs Cyberpunk. For me, it's more fun than all of his other stuff.
I thought I was off my game last session, but hopefully the next one will go better.
It did seem to slow down a little bit here and there. I kind of feel like you didn't get through it as fast as you wanted to, or get to all the stuff you wanted to. But I know it'll pick up. It'll get better. The other thing too is I started Darwin's World last Sunday, and I remember asking Grimm literally hours before it ran to put together an intro for me, and I told him, I said, I'm not giving you the music for it. I just want you to put together something and just do it this way. So he sent me back a video, and complaining at me like, well, it would have been better if I'd have had the video. And I said, well, let me marry the audio to it really quick and see what you think. We put it all together, and just for you guys who haven't seen it out there in the audience or haven't seen it on the panel, I'm going to go ahead and run it now. This is what me and Grimm put together for Other Dust.
Who made that video?
Grim put that together.
Grim, that visually stunning.
Yes,
T-shirt. Your music choices are always top notch.
Well, thanks, man. Yeah.
Fantastic.
I couldn't get anybody to to play it, so Grim found a couple of volunteers, and we had a great time. We actually ended up running 4 hours. I usually only run for about 3, but I think everybody was just having such a great time and enjoying it. We probably could have gone longer, but everybody was British, and it's getting late over there. So.
Sometimes it's nice to take it slow as well and get familiarized with the world. So that helped.
Yeah, and I think people are getting more and more into their characters, although I was really shocked at how well everybody was playing their characters. Everybody was really compelling and enjoying, and I think everybody kind of got that sense of what was lost in the world, because Darwin's world is dark. It is post-apocalyptic. It's the world has fallen. It's in ruins. It's been so long since it was destroyed that people can't even really remember what America was or anything. So.
It's a much less cutesy Fallout.
Yeah.
What was that song? Where's it from? T-shirt.
That is that's done by a band called The Toxic Avenger. Literally, I'm serious. It's by a band called The Toxic Avenger. Yeah. Yes.
Good reference.
And the first time I heard that song, I thought, man, that's an amazing piece of music. And
Toxie got trim, so I mean.
But I was amazed because whenever I slapped that piece of music on top of the visual, and keep in mind, like I said, Grim had not heard the soundtrack before I put that on there, and we
perfectly.
Yeah, it just worked perfectly. So I think it was meant to be. I think this Darwin's World game is going to be a lot more fun than I thought it was. I mean, I'm kind of struggling a little bit because I'm having to kind of adapt Other Dust on the fly with it, but we still have spots open too, by the way, if anybody wants to join us next Sunday for it.
If I can get my other game to let out at a reasonable time, I can make it over.
Okay, well, that'd be great.
But
and
apparently
tomorrow playing Gamma World.
More.
Yeah.
So it's like, we'll just keep going. It's like, no, I got another game I kind of want to get to here. Hours.
Yeah. Well, Kyle and Ryan were supposed to make it to this game, so maybe this will encourage them.
Well, a lot of it was timing, and then also, my wife. I've been doing more stuff, and
the marital unit. I understand.
And she's kind of, I would say she's complaining. She's a little bit disappointed in how it's cutting in on our time together because we don't get a lot throughout the work week. So I have to prioritize, unfortunately, sometimes.
I understand. I'm just ribbing you, dude. And I know Ryan's usually got stuff going on the weekends.
Sundays are just horrid, and you guys don't want to start at like 9 a.m. your time, T. So,
well, I mean, I could. I mean, that's what I originally started it at.
Right, and that's when I was able to pop in the most. But
okay.
I also know that one cog in the whole machine, we're not going to shift the whole time just for that. So
I've done it before, but I think this next session we're going to be joined by one half of the Big Geek Emporium, so that should be interesting if he makes it. If not, I may just go ahead and shift it up to earlier.
Are we keeping it secret, or I'm assuming? I think I know who it is.
Randy.
Yep.
Randy Nichols. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Randy's awesome. I love Randy.
Randy's fun. Randy's great.
Shout out to Randy.
I would love to have Joe on too, but Joe's a busy guy. But,
I'm gonna have to go ahead and book my tickets soon for their Big Geek Con.
Yeah, that's pretty close to you.
Yep, that's right. My neighbor. That's right within my backyard. Practically, it's like maybe about 30-40 minute drive.
Nice.
I inadvertently got kind of a classic, or at least a valuable artifact, sort of, in a way. Let's see. I am a big fan of Alex T's work. I mean, that's what he identifies himself as, so I can't tell you more than that about his name. And I just got this hardback, or this, physical copy of Broken Shores, right? Which is cool, and you can still get this on DTRPG because it's the only place he sells from.
Great cover. Great cover.
It is a great cover, but it's also the second one because this is the original. Wow. See, this game, Broken Shores, was actually originally called God Shard, and the two books don't necessarily line up. The page counts are a little bit different. The artwork is also pretty much almost the same, except, of course, for the titling and stuff. But I bought God Shard the instant it became available in print and got my copy. And then a few weeks later, he found out that the title was already copyrighted. So he hastily had to change things to Broken Shores and re-release it. And he came out with Broken Shores. Now I have both copies. And I can say, like, boom, check me out. Physical media all the way, baby. Always. Because of stuff like this. I have something that very few people have now.
Nice.
That exclusivity.
Also, I have another book that he did not too long ago. I can show that off real quick. And I got my copy of Tulsa King in, by the way. I love this. I have to thank Victor Gorchev for recommending this to me. This was fun. This was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. So another good thing this week. But this is his other book, Rift Breakers. And it's a nice, big, chunky, meaty hardback. And it's conceived as a solo game originally. But it could be run with a group. And it's got some great illustrations. I haven't really had a chance to play it because I literally just got it a couple of days ago. And I've been working my ass off on Grimm's project. But definitely take a look at it. It's on DTRPG. Worth it.
That's a big boy. What's the page count on that?
Let me see. I haven't actually counted the pages on it, but it is a chunky ass book. 299 pages.
Wow.
2 of which are dedicated to notes. So I guess if you just want content, 297 pages, but still. For an independent publisher out of Spain, that's pretty meaty. I mean, I'm busy writing, and I'm hoping to hit 50 pages before it's done. But I'm even with supplemental stuff by Grimm, I don't know if we're going to hit it.
What's the incentive to hit 50? I mean, why do you have that benchmark?
I feel like at 50 pages, you kind of have a proper book. That's just my internal thinking. I don't know, Grim. What do you think?
It'll probably end up actually being more if I format it for A5, which I typically do these days. So
nice. Nice. And of course, I'm going to be adding artwork to it because, it didn't have any.
it was a Schlocktoberfest release, which is something I occasionally do in October, where I just hammer out crap throughout the month of October and put it up for sale, just throwing ideas at the wall and seeing what sticks.
It's a t-shirt. You're a literary gong farmer right now.
I appreciate the reference. No nobler profession than the gong farmer, in my opinion. I wish I got paid as much as they did. Apparently, gong farmers did pretty well. Although
It's a
I
shit
mean,
nobody wants to do.
well,
Yeah.
that and it's a low life expectancy job because you could pretty much get guaranteed you were going to get sick and die pretty quick.
Have
Handling
some
people's poop.
parasites.
Yeah.
Have some parasites.
Oh yeah. But yeah, I mean, I just there's been so many good things this week.
I got a good mail call week.
What'd you have? Oh yeah, you got your new
I do.
unboxing. Your new unboxing. Let's see it. Do.
So, we know the Mattel Creation stuff ain't easy to come by. This one I ordered almost a year ago, and if you can see on the box, it is favorite from childhood, Mr. Grizzlor of the Horde.
Grizzlor.
So,
Yeah, I remember him.
we'll see what he looks like. Now, I understand from other folks that have already looked at him that his fur is like super premium compared to what we had.
Ooh, I remember
as a
that
kid.
fur.
But we'll see what it looks like here.
Looked kind of like a chia pet or something. And
There he is.
oh wow,
So I don't
that's
know
way
if
better.
That is really nice fur.
It is.
But it's been a good guys Masters of the Universe week for me. Grizzlor came in, and then right before we went on the air today, I got this thrown at me. Someone actually found Snakeface out in the wild.
Oh, Snakeface.
So,
I remember him.
my lady took care of me. She saw it and grabbed it.
Nice.
That's always good when she sees it and grabs it. So, but no, Grizzlor.
Well,
Stop it.
What? What?
He was being lewd.
Lewd.
No, I have like so many that I have to open. Caster was giving me crap about it, but look at this. It's a horde of He-Man that I still have to open.
You could seriously just make one whole video on nothing but unboxing. You know that, right?
I don't have that video channel or anything like that.
Oh well, I'll do it with you. Don't worry. Put some more hits on my channel.
People watch that shit.
They do.
They do.
Yeah.
We can unbox Masters of the Universe 20 minutes a week for the next 7 weeks. 8 weeks. What do I got? I got like 30 back there. Shit.
We have some projects to announce. And I forgot, Grim. I actually I was interested in the older one, so it's worth seeing this one. Hang on. Ba-do-do-do. Let's go into Scopo mode.
Uh-oh.
Yes. Crossbows and catapults.
Yeah, it's not launched yet, and there's not a lot of info there, but there is info elsewhere.
Yep.
And Restoration Games does really well with their sort of redos. I got Fireball Island, and it was spectacularly better than the original.
Yeah, I remember I had the old Crossbows and Catapults game when I was a kid, and this looks cooler.
Yeah, didn't they do the remake of that Thunder Road as well?
Mm-hmm.
Is that
They
them?
did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crossbows and Catapults is my Great White Buffalo. It's the game I always wanted as a kid and never got. So, however childish it is, I have to purchase it.
but Grim, are you going to take it out of the box and let you play with it?
Of course I am.
That is a very tactile game. It's not a typical game where you roll dice and stuff like that. It's you literally are trying to blow down the other guy's castle with physical projectiles.
Yeah.
So it's fun. I remember playing this a lot when I was a kid with my friends.
High
should
hopes
get
for
it.
it with Restoration. You should. There's did any of you pick up the Return to Dark Tower?
Yes, I have Return to Dark Tower.
Oh, it's spectacular as well.
Yes, it's so good. It's so good.
I've still got an original Dark Tower.
Oh, I hate you.
You and
that
Squeak a
works.
Mouse.
That
Wow.
works with
Oh.
pieces.
Dang.
The
Jealousy
only
intensifies.
thing, I don't have the box. The original box got destroyed in some apartment flooding years ago. But the internal, I caught it in time that the internal pieces and the board and everything, I managed to save.
Good.
So
That's good. The only person The only other person I know who has one is Squeak a Mouse. And she also bought the new one, but I don't know if she's ever actually played it or not.
I just
She hadn't last time we talked about it.
Grabbed
Yeah,
the
she had
expansion for it. If you haven't picked up the expansion, it's worthwhile. Even though
I need to get that.
Yeah, we played it last night. It was the third of our 3. We did board games just because we were short a couple players for role playing, and busted out the expansion for Dark Tower as our last game, and it's a good addition.
Cool. Well, I need to get it.
I've got a copy of done and play.
I did make a little joke that actually kind of managed to be timely. Thursday night, I run my game for my group, and a random NPC that I rolled up entered the party's bandwidth, and it was a Drowess. And I didn't have any lore on this Drowess to start with, and just as a joke, I started making shit up, and it started to get more and more funny because I presented the Drowess as like, yes, my entire race of people were all exiled from our home world. We were all completely removed from it and sent to this one, which, as many of you may or may not know, kind of links into our next little biz right here. Let me do this again. Pathfinder has ejected Drow from official lore.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, they're too deeply enmeshed in D&D identity. I mean, why they can't just call them dark elves or something else, I don't know. But yeah,
elves.
Yeah, apparently they're removing all of the dark elf or all the Drow, and they're replacing them with serpent folk.
So they're ethnically cleansing a race of black people from their world, is what you're saying.
Racist.
That's racist.
I'm not familiar with Pathfinder, but I don't think serpent folk is going to catch on.
I don't think so either.
Oh, I mean, the scalies out there are going to be all over.
Yeah.
Honestly, serpent folk sounds kind of racist, though.
Yeah, it's their Pathfinder 2nd Edition remaster project with 4 new books and intermittent changes such as carving Drow out of the official lore.
It's a shame our token Drow Victor isn't here to weigh in.
Yeah.
Person of scale.
Well, I mean, let's be real though. I mean,
maybe he'll do a run-in for us here.
Anyone who is playing Pathfinder 2nd Edition who wants Drow are just going to keep Drow. So it's ultimately just kind of silly changes they're doing. I get why they're doing it to try to help differentiate from the Hasbro stuff.
Well, nobody else has had to do that, though.
Caster, I'm going to yell at you on this one.
Yeah, I think y'all should campaign Drow lives matter.
That argument doesn't hold weight because we hear that argument all the time. Well, if you don't want it at your table, it's still going to be, just because they took it out of the book. When you change the lore, you are inevitably changing it, and the only thing that can preserve or that doesn't erase it is time. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, it'll still be at tables of people that play Pathfinder, but it's not going to be in the minds, in the hearts, in the building philosophy of a new player that's coming to the hobby. And we need to cultivate new players that are beneficial and positive to the hobby, as opposed to, and you know where I'm at with this, but then I'm not going to go there. But when you take it out, yes, it's still going to be at any table that wants it. But there are folks that are not going to know it exists. And so that doesn't hold water. You have to stand up for it.
But Ryan, at the same time, there are, for example, when I was playing Pathfinder, we just used these SRD sites that had just compilated all the stuff. It didn't matter what changes were in there. Like if the book's already out, people are going to keep these in those rosters of these digital repositories.
Yeah, but you're already of the mindset and the philosophy that exists, right? I have God help me, 26-year-old 20-something that's coming to my table, and he has only played 5th edition and Pathfinder 2e. So his worldview is very limited. Now, he's open, he's a friend, and I'll tell him, get the fuck out if I need to. But I still worry because he can fill a thimble with his knowledge. And it's... Logan, I love you. And
I think what he's saying does make a good point, because you could still have the old set to return to, but there is that argument that they're purposefully, reshaping history. They're purposefully hiding the older stuff so that because they do think that the audience that will be doing these games are dumb, and they won't know about the older stuff that is going to be better and came before it. They want, in some sense, mindless automatons,
Well, it enables them to control the narrative better, because again, we know that D&D is going to go to their VTT, where they can digitally control all aspects of their game, including what they take in and what they put out. So,
right, they could have just thrown the serpents in and backgrounded their drow and said nothing. And said nothing.
I don't think there's a nefarious agenda here. I just don't think there's a nefarious agenda here. I think that this is a company who, which I find it highly ironic that Pathfinder wouldn't even exist if it hadn't been for Dungeons and Dragons and their attempt at 4th edition, and now they're trying to distance themselves from it. But I really think that's what it is. They're trying, with the OGL debacle earlier this year and a lot of the things that WotC have done. I think Paizo understands that they're alienating a significant portion of their fan base and their market, and so I think they're just trying to capitalize on that. So we're going to distance ourselves from this property as much as we possibly can. I honestly think it's a money move.
Oh, I don't think it's like, they're eliminating for racial or whatever. It's absolutely to put distance between themselves and wizards. But still, it's established.
I still think it's pointless anyway, because drow comes from trow, which just means troll. And trolls included all kinds of different elves and fairies. In Nordic lore, you've got dark elves. Plenty of other game systems and things have had dark elves. They'd already changed them in Paizo, I think, to cavern elves anyway, which coincidentally is something I've called a similar race of elves in my setting for tabletop list.
I love it. Just like WotC seems like a strange way to distance yourself from WotC.
It is. I don't think there's any ideological agenda. They're just trying to, put distance between themselves and wizards.
Dungeons and Dragons had shadow elves prior to, Salvatore and the explosion of Drizzt Do'Urden.
I don't know why they don't have another setting. All right, I guess you've got Starfinder, but that's really its own game. D&D has had multiple settings.
I'm gonna just put this out here, okay? God damn it, because my Farog still has dark elves. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe I shouldn't have said that.
Well, yes, let's distance ourselves from wizards and put ourselves closer to Varg. That sounds like a fantastic.
Great choice of words there, T-shirt. Great choice of words.
Mind you, Varg has never hired the Pinkertons.
True. That's true. You can't afford to before.
Yet.
That is true, but I feel like I need a shower now. So,
and he's open and admits to his bigotries, which wizards don't do. So
that's true.
If you think about it, Varg is morally superior to wizards.
What? In what world did we say this?
Now that's going to get clipped, right?
Yeah.
All right. Say goodbye.
That was a parodic comment. I don't really mean that.
It's an ironic comment, yes.
They'll actually keep that part in.
They won't, but
it's timely. I was called. I was compared to him and called a Nazi by some uninformed folks multiple times this week. So it's good. And I'm like,
Yeah.
you guys
Aren't you
didn't
Jewish?
realize that I'm Slap the Yarmulke, right?
Yeah, I got some.
Oh no!
I got some shit this week because I allowed Venger to have a platform on my channel.
What's wrong with the voice? Fuck them. I'm so wound up about it. I'm trying to be really good this week for T-shirt.
No, thank you.
I just said, look, I did an open call for influencers and game designers to answer some questions on my channel. He turned up and recorded some answers for me. You didn't. So what do you want me to do?
He's got a point.
I saw that a couple weeks ago when you said if you want to come on and record a couple of things, do it. It was a very open call. It wasn't tagging anybody. It was just there. Venger picked up the phone.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, really,
He's
it's just
gone to the pundit school of self-promotion. Sorry,
there you go.
I was saying it's just like one of those questions of like, so what are you designing right now? What are you? What's a mechanic that you wish wasn't as profound? It's like harmless questions, but these people,
of course, Venger used the opportunity to go off about trans people and stuff because it's Venger, but
but that's his shtick. Like, there's a big thing going on right now with Pundit, right? And it's on Nerd Cognito Twitter. I don't know. It just happens that way sometimes. But that's their shtick. Who doesn't realize that that's their shtick? That's the character that he plays on the internet. Just like Grim, this is the character you play. Just like this is the character that I play on the internet, right? Yeah. It's our deal.
The only thing I'm mad at,
like the Iron Sheik. God rest him.
God rest his soul. We miss the Iron Sheik. The only thing I'm mad at RPG Pundit about is they had to announce a new member of their show, and it wasn't me.
It was Double D, though.
It was Double D.
Friend of our show, friend of our channels.
No, we love Double D, but it's just that Double D doesn't even make anything. I mean, he
makes
doesn't
a fuss.
videos.
He makes videos.
I mean, the show's inappropriate characters T-shirt, and honestly, you're a fairly middle of the road guy,
Yeah.
Well, you're pretty
nice.
likable. You're pretty likable. You don't really polarize people that much.
I try not to.
But you never saw Jim Sacco's Halloween costume.
Oh God,
that is controversial. T-shirt. You gotta be more controversial.
Look, when I was on Inappropriate Characters, I was like the token Fox News liberal. They need someone like that on there as a counterweight.
Speaking of which, Grim, do you have alcohol on hand?
I do. Why are we talking about Middle Earth?
No. I just want you to have it. Stand by. Just hold them up and be ready. Okay, are you ready? Are you ready? Okay.
Valhalla calls to me.
I'm afraid where this is going.
Okay, are you ready?
I mean, we can all equip if we need to.
Okay. Everybody brace yourselves. Everybody brace yourselves.
Here we go.
Oh, this. Oh, the pain. Yeah,
Character level services, huh?
No, wait. What the fuck is this?
Now you don't even need to play the game. We'll do it for you.
As someone who is not into
this is
tabletop
satire?
space as you are, can somebody explain to me what this is and why this is necessary? As someone who doesn't even play tabletop games, even I know this isn't necessary.
The pinnacle of video gamization of our hobby.
Oh my God!
That's what it is. Okay.
This is the RPG equivalent of the pre-made peanut butter and jelly sandwiches with the fucking crust cut off.
This is the
Those are actually good though. Kyle.
This is the D&D equivalent of the Chinese gold farmer in WoW.
No, I got a good one. I got a good one for you, T-shirt.
This isn't satire.
This is the D&D equivalent of when game journals complain that Elden Ring is too hard.
It's or
any From Software title is too hard.
Of the Cuphead tutorial.
They're Dean
Now-
Takahashiing themselves now.
Now, I don't know if this is real or not. I honestly don't know if it's satire or if this is just somebody's idea of a joke. But yeah, I mean, I saw this and I said, I got to put this on.
I do
I'm
love the
sad.
Sparkle Troll die in the first picture. I mean, that's
Yeah.
it has that. It has to be satire.
I mean, it's too,
I'm mad
ironic. It's too ironic to be a joke.
I'm hoping it's just a joke. I mean, if it's a real thing, then I'm only kicking myself in the ass because I didn't think about it first.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
the sad thing is, it's like at this point, we don't really know. Nobody can tell if it's satire or not.
And
Sadly.
if it were real, people would use it. That's
Yeah.
the
They would.
sad
Onion of
thing.
tabletop gaming right
Yeah.
here. We're
Well,
onion now.
I mean, you know, D&D is a lifestyle, and you don't always have time to involve yourself in playing multiple games. So there you go.
It is a lifestyle. Yes, it is.
You know,
Just like Marvel is. Just everything else is a lifestyle.
Shinatsky, yeah. Yeah. I remember the pre-made WoW characters, the leveling stuff. Yeah, I remember that too. And this is the same thing.
Oh, this makes me really sad that Bruce isn't here because he would probably rant the hell out about this right now.
He probably would. I hope he
I'm
catches
probably
this
gonna
on the
show this to
replay.
him on tomorrow's Machiny Live.
You absolutely need to. I should probably clip it for that.
Yeah, send us the
Level
box.
services.
I
Yeah.
have a promo video.
You do?
They
Oh,
do.
it's real. Oh, no.
Do they have a Kickstarter page up? Do they have a landing page?
I'm trying to find that.
Oh my God, no. I thought it was a joke. They have a promo video?
Yeah,
Oh my
No.
god.
I think. Unless it's someone taking the piss. I obviously haven't been able to listen to it.
Oh.
Legit.
All right, I'll be back. I got to get more scotch. Jesus.
Let me get this real quick. So hopefully I don't use any copyright music in it, but I'll wait for him to come back before I put this up. Apparently
Save it. Let's.
I'm saving it. Yes, Joe Grognard. Yes,
This is
there's
real,
a video.
y'all. This is
There's
real.
a video. There's a video. I don't know if it's for real still, but
I think it's real.
I think it's real.
Character level service.
The comments suggest that it is actually satire. So maybe it is.
Maybe.
Postal
Maybe it
replies.
is.
Oh,
Yes,
it is
yes.
a parody. Yep.
Oh, it is.
Okay. Okay.
But right,
I could
People
not
would
imagine
do
if
this.
that was real.
People would pay. You got it, Jim.
They
All right,
would.
real- How gets back? Let's keep going on as though it's real. Let's see how he acts.
I know, right?
Okay, here we go, Kyle. We've got it for you. You ready?
Yeah,
Got you.
I can hear you because I've got
Damn it.
wireless.
Damn.
So good luck, dumbasses.
Damn it, Beaver.
Introducing Character Level Services, an upcoming Kickstarter project that we are incredibly excited about, and we're sure you will be too. Here's how it works. You roll up your first level character and craft their unique backstory.
Oh no, I can't be bothered to do that. That's too hard. Math stuff. No.
But you have your 30 pages. You have your 30 pages to go with it. So do the math.
Oh yeah, because I gotta make my character backstory, and that's gonna take me too long. I can't be bothered.
Make them in a wheelchair. That'll be simple.
I'm just gonna I'm not gonna go to the game, guys. I'm just gonna watch I'm just gonna watch Supernatural on all 20 seasons back to back.
God.
And cuddle my
I actually
cat.
did that.
Color your dice.
Noi, we are the TTRPG equivalent pretty much now. Let's continue.
You submit your character to us and your character will embark on epic adventures, facing dangerous challenges, discovering magical items, and gaining valuable experience points and
But what if I don't want my character to do any violence? I just want to talk my way through all my encounters, and I want my character to fall in love with the with the tiefling half elf priestess who is also transgender.
Downtime. This all takes place at our proprietary D&D table, led by our team of seasoned players and a professional dungeon master.
Hey, those are all white people. I object to this. I want at least a Latino and one black person
I
at
think
this
two
table.
Two of them are the same.
Don't look at me.
I think.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
I think one's Asian. One's Asian. We're okay.
It would have
Okay.
been really funny if it'd been like the what was that video you showed several weeks ago? In the same proportions as modern day Los Angeles.
I'll put that one up. I'll put that one back up because everybody loves that one.
Our team of experienced and dedicated players will take on the role of your character during the adventures. They will guide your character through thrilling quests,
God, this
make
is
tactical
real.
decisions, and ensure that your character progresses in the best possible way at each level. Please note that while your character is being played by our seasoned players, they
Hey, that person looks old. Are they a grognard?
No, that's exactly it,
Yeah.
man. That's perfect image. Sell it, baby.
Don't want any grognards to touch my character. I feel violated. I do not give consent.
Me too.
Sorry.
They're just hostile to Nards, Grog, or otherwise.
Yeah. Yes.
But them
We'll
looks
closely
like
follow
she
your
got a
character's
surprise
backstory.
finger in the butt. Look at that
Oh,
face.
there you go. Exactly.
Woo.
Ding dong.
Oh, surprise there.
That's what I call that.
Ooh.
choices and preferences you provided.
Move.
This
river.
ensures a personalized and immersive experience tailored to your vision for the character. We'll return your character to you at the selected level, accompanied by detailed notes, captivating stories, a collection of magical items, earned downtime, and experience points that no DM can take away. Just a
Yeah.
That's where it tips its hand, I think.
Yeah.
Your character's adventures are perfectly valid, and no one can take that away.
I'm so sorry, but there's just too much white in this picture. This is not a diverse.
it's not diverse enough.
This is not a diverse unless all these people are transgendered or something.
And they look happy. They look
Yes.
happy. Players are supposed to be grimacing in pain.
Yes. and why are they all together? Don't they know that they could spread diseases to each other? They need to be wearing
They're not
masks.
wearing a mask. They're not getting
because this fucking picture was taken in Boulder, Colorado.
Oh no.
Oh, I thought it was in Portland. Okay, never mind.
Oh.
Imagine the reaction of your friends when you unveil your fully developed character. Look out for our Kickstarter campaign launching in early 2024. What level would you like to be?
Yes, I would like a 20th level, half bard, half fighter, magic user, tiefling, but I'm only tiefling on my father's side because my mother was actually an orc, because I believe in diversity, and orcs are black people. And
And they have, they have to be in a wheelchair.
yes, and I would also like to be identify as non-binary and in a wheelchair.
So I just want to say right now. Go ahead, Jim.
I was going to say people would absolutely pay for that service.
They would.
They would.
Yeah, people are
they
stupid
would.
enough to pay for it.
Which is why I'm publicly announcing right now, live on this stream, that if you send me your old school D&D characters, I will make sure they get played to whatever level you like for a small fee of $15 per level, and I'll send them back to you. And you can reach me at dinebreedtabletop@gmail.com.
You just need to get an e-girl in cosplay to front the whole thing to get attention.
That's what it is. Without the titties, it ain't gonna sell.
Well, the closest thing I got is Ironcaster. So
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, he did take his shirt off last week.
Yes, he did.
Do it.
I was gonna say, maybe anybody got Amaranth's number? Maybe she.
The best
Oh,
I
I
can give you.
wish. I did see her OnlyFans the other day.
Why?
Ooh, Spawn.
Spawn porn.
Spawn form. Let's see. I do have one other thing today that should be fun.
Cool.
It's kind of it's down our alley, but it's also down some other people's alleys.
Ooh.
Let's see.
Is it lube?
It's not. No, I wish it was.
Save that for later.
But at Fund My Comic, they're having something called Hybrids Double Feature. I'm not going to show the YouTube trailer because we'll probably get claimed. But they've got 31 days to go, and it's a comic book that also goes with this role-playing game called Hybrids, the Sons of Gods.
Sons of Gods.
Yeah, I think it's kind of cool. It's like everyday folks developing godlike abilities, which, you know, I like Godbound, and I like what's that other one? Scion. So this is cool. So yeah, you play as a human like Rev or Danny. Show your cunning and become one of the powerful hybrids. I like it. I think it's kind of neat. I do have a little bit of extra money. I may just back this one just to see what it's like. But it's using something called the Base +2 system, which is a rules light engine. And it just looks cool. I mean, I don't know. I keep saying it looks cool.
I had a blast from the past this week. So I bought Mutant Crawl Classics, which I'll be reviewing soon.
Yeah, I got that.
But that made me remember playing the Gamma Orders RPG that was in the back of the comics.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, I went off on a little nostalgic internet wormhole there for a while.
I loved Gamma Marauders. I bought that game. I still have it somewhere. Bioborgs, yeah. Blip the teleport turtle was always my favorite.
The factoids were the things I loved.
Factoids were funny.
The televisions that go around giving you facts, which may or may not be accurate.
Yes. It was kind of. It didn't. Did it have to be such a self-fulfilling prophecy?
Could it not?
But this looks pretty cool, and it doesn't look like it's a ton of money. And yes, these are the comic books that you can get to go along with this. I mean, you could certainly back other Kickstarter other stuff. I mean, this is Fund My Comic. This is actually pretty cheap for 3 books, and a set of dice and a dice tray for $100 is not bad, really. And the ultimate bundle's 150.
I think I've backed his stuff before, actually. Like, for example, Battle Brick Road.
Oh yeah,
which was, if I remember correctly, it was sort of a sort of action-y take on the Wizard of Oz.
Mm-hmm. So, what do you think?
I think I'm still waiting for my.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, it's something to check out. If you jump up on fundmycomic.com, you can see campaign 6 hybrids double feature. At Luke Stone Studios, who is, I don't know, apparently one of his things is he's a writer, artist, and pastor, which I don't know how that affects his work, but hey, I still think it's cool. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I love showing off indie projects and indie people's stuff.
Are we going to touch on the Critical Role controversy?
Uh-oh, what's going on?
What'd they do this time?
Yeah,
so they've started their new game, Candela Obscura, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they put out a quick start for the system, which didn't mention that it was heavily inspired by and based on Blades in the Dark. So people thought they were ripping off the system for ages, but then the updated quick start and apparently the final book now says that it's inspired by Blades in the Dark, and the person who wrote Blades in the Dark came out and said it's to do with that. But yeah, the reaction from the critters doesn't seem to be that positive.
Oh dear.
To the whole thing, though it seems mostly to be a fuss about nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think it's a blowover, really, because they're not wringing their hands still. It's already starting to fade a little bit.
Yeah,
so.
And it is basically a rip-off of Call of Cthulhu as well.
Remind me, who did Blades in the Dark?
Evil Hat.
Did they?
They may have sold it, but based on Powered by the Apocalypse, so I'm not interested already.
Oh,
Right. The Blades in the Dark copy, I actually have it. It's an Evil Hat.
By John Harper. So he may have sold it through them, or he might work with them. I don't know.
Oh boy. Well, gee. Yeah,
that was
John
before
Harper.
I knew anything about Evil Hat, by the way, in my defense.
Well, you can't be
they
blamed.
occasionally make good stuff. I still buy stuff when it's good. You know, life's too short to. Well, no, I say that, but I hold grudges forever. Okay.
No, but
Never mind.
There are certain companies where it's still possible to hold your nose if it's a really good product and just do it, because
separate the art from the artist.
Yeah, at what point do you have to say, I'm going to deprive myself of this really good experience just because of this shit? And it's worldwide. It's not just in the hobby. We got to do that with what products you buy at the grocery store, right?
Yeah, I mean, are you gonna not shop at every place just because you don't like whatever their politics and stuff too? It's like you eventually.
Chick-fil-A is getting a boomerang right now. How the fuck does that happen?
Yeah,
that's true.
I mean,
that's true.
You know, unless you raise your own crops and livestock and everything else, it's like, yeah, you're eventually going to have to go out and pick up a product. Yeah,
right.
And make
meats,
your own shirts.
You're patronizing one of 5 major companies unless you know the farmer that killed the cow.
Yeah.
So
you get to the point where if you start micro breaking down every single company and their politics, and you eventually end up to the point where it's kind of like you're going to lose your mind, because there's nothing you interact with on a daily basis that hasn't been made by somebody that probably didn't agree with you at some point or another.
Exactly. I think that's why it's so easy for us to pull back the target on Wizards too, because it is a very identifiable segment of a major company that is the bottom of the tentacle. It's not all the way up at the head, like with everything in life. Go ahead, Jim. Sorry.
I was to say I'm usually okay with things unless someone's done something like personal. You know, that's when the grudge really kicks in.
Yeah. I do have to mention one more thing. I mean, we're close to closing time, but I thought I'd mention this because I've been vacillating on this all week, and we've mentioned kinks and cantrips last week, and earlier in the week I got the prototype PDF for the book, which means it's the book. It's just not got all the artwork and all the beebs and bobs and whatever extra stuff they're going to add to it.
They're calling them now.
Being serious. And I thought about this because I was really kind of not sure which way to proceed with this, because on the one hand, it's very, very, very easy to look at this book and point your fingers and laugh at all the stuff that's in there. And it's got some stuff in there that even made me go, what the hell? But on the other hand, everybody kind of has the thing that they like in the bedroom. And it started to kind of weigh on my conscience, because as I was going through and looking at some of the stuff and pointing and laughing at it, I started thinking, what if this was something I liked? What if this was something I really enjoyed and I wanted to see more? I thought it was cool. And I had people airing this and joking about it and making fun of it and everything. That would not feel really good to me, because some people, myself included, have things that we like that aren't necessarily mainstream and may not be, kosher with everybody necessarily. Not because they're vile or they mistreat people or hurt people, but just because they're seen as weird or out of the norm. I mean, you tell somebody, oh, I've got a thing for big boobs. Nobody even thinks twice about it, because so many people have a thing for big boobs, especially people who've been breastfed or whatever. But if you mention, I like feet, then everybody's kind of like, yeah, your feet, right? But it's a little bit more acceptable. So this is just kind of where I was at with this, and I decided if we do talk about this thing any further, we're going to have to do it in such a way as to where it's kind of respectful of the material. Because I don't want to alienate anybody by pointing fingers and saying, "Oh, look, this is so stupid. Look at you with your thing for this or that." You know, I mean, sure, like I said, some of the stuff in there even made me go, "What?" But you know, the more I got to thinking about it, the more my conscience started to weigh on me about it. So that's just kind of my take on it. I mean, I don't know how you guys feel about that.
Well, I mean, considering so many of the people here on the panel are creators themselves, it feels like it's kind of fair to, you know, come at it from a place of, you know, seriousness, to take it for what it is, and, you know, not just point and laugh bluntly.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah,
I would like to imagine that people would want to look at Whitechester with, you know, all, you know, genuine seriousness and take it for what it is, and not have someone sit here and go, "Oh, it's like some zombie stuff."
Yeah. I mean, I guess there are people out there with a zombie fetish. I'm not one of them, but but I never would have considered, you know, Whitechester to be a object of fetishism. But I guess that's kind of like the whole nature of kink, is that anything can be kinked.
People still give me shit over gore, so you know, use that as an example if you want.
Oh yeah. And that's an easy one to, you know, to point a finger at, because that one's been vilified for a long time. But there's still whole communities that are built up around it. So yeah, if we do discuss kinks and cantrips on the show, I'm thinking our pledge is going to be that we're going to have to be respectful about it and just kind of treat it as what it is. I mean, some of the stuff will be kind of, you know, eye rolling, or you know, kind of make you secretly either ill or or whatever, because it's not your thing, not because it's inherently something gross or disgusting. It's just because it's not your thing.
It's okay to have icks though, as well.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
And sexual topics people can't help but deflect into humor a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, sex is fun, and it's often funny.
Yeah.
You know, when things happen, like a towel rail breaking or a wardrobe falling onto you guys, you know, and you know, shit happens, and it's
the noises. I mean, we love them, right?
Yeah. I mean, let's be honest, everybody. If you could be out having sex right now for the 2 hours you were watching this, wouldn't you be doing that?
Fine.
See?
What's that sound? Is someone feeding a horse?
And just call me a bro SR, because that was real time, baby. 1-1.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I want to be respectful to it. Somebody took the time to write this stuff. Somebody took the time to put their thoughts and ideas into a game form. You know, and it's a game. It's for fun. Games are to have fun. We're here to have fun. You know, we do laugh at stuff that happens in games, and some of the stuff that's in the book is really hard not to giggle or laugh about because of the way it's presented and stuff. I'm just being honest. But I don't want to just hold the book up and go, "Oh, God, look at this. People wrote this. Who could have bought it? They're sick bastards." You know?
I mean, okay. So I hadn't really considered that perspective, and I think you're right, T-shirt. We should probably approach it with a bit more respect. However,
yes,
I want to say, oh my God, dude, I could shoot fish in a barrel.
Well, that's the problem. You know? That's the problem. It's very easy to do that, and even I was doing it. Even I was doing it the first time I looked at it and going through and going, "Jesus fuck, what am I reading here?" Yeah. But
to be fair, we did then turn around and give it money.
Yeah, we did. We did. Yeah, Ironcaster and I both backed it. So
I think you could tell how conflicted I am about it, because I'm glad that people are doing this and that it's apparently more acceptable now. But I felt and still feel that it's just a lazy book. It's really and
that's fair. And that's fair. I mean, you know, But I mean, you're coming from it from a place of respect and critical view, not from the haha. Let's make fun of people because they have strange or fetishes that are not like ours.
No, and I really think that our panel in general, those here and those that might be here, all really do look at that. Even when we throw a zinger out, it's not a disrespect. You know, it's just our way of breaking balls at the lunch table, man. And
pretty much, because this is the lunch table. This is the lunch table. And just I'll be honest, a lot of the stuff in this book, you're probably not going to use it at your table just because of how it's presented. But some of the stuff is actually kind of innocent the way it's presented, and it could find its way to your table because it's not something that's like overtly kinky in and of itself. Except for the context to which it is presented. I'll give you an example. There's a spell in the book that's called Soporific Rain, where literally you cast a spell and the rain comes down and people who are caught in the rain have to make a saving throw or they fall asleep. Now, in and of itself, that spell sounds, like it sounds like something you'd include in a regular book, right?
Alternate skin for a sleep spell.
Yeah, right.
Tell them what the rain is.
Right. Now, the thing is, directly under that spell, there's a flavor text box under it that explains what I forget the term, but it's basically for people who enjoy watching other people sleep. Yeah. Yeah.
That
they're
no,
Yeah.
that okay. That's where it gets a little.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. If you didn't read that context into the spell's perfectly fine, right? But then you
what's
think
the
about
verbal component of the spell? Is it take a nap whilst I fap?
I hope not. I hope not. They have another one where they have a barbarian class that grows giant, right? They literally get bigger, physically more powerful, and more robust and stuff. Which normally, like players are going, yeah, the barbarian get bigger, do more damage, hurt people worse, right? Well, then immediately after they give a flavor text box about giantism fetish, which is
and vor, which is
yeah. So, like I said, taken out of context, any of the stuff in the book is probably fine at a table. And then the other half of it too is once you start reading context into all these things, you kind of start looking back at your regular D&D stuff and recontextualizing it into kink. And it's kind of weird because it's kind of like all of a sudden, oh my, did you throw that sleep spell because you're into watching people sleep?
No.
Yeah.
No, exactly. No, I did it because we were outnumbered 3-1.
Okay, fair enough. But yeah, and this is what I mean. I don't want to just hold it up and laugh at it. I do want to have some respect for it, and I do respect the fact that somebody actually took the time to write this. Whether or not it gets used at a lot of people's tables, I doubt. But for people who do want to use it, I don't want to alienate you, make you feel bad or insecure or anything else. I'm definitely not poking any fun at anybody else's kinks because I've got my own. Everybody on this panel, everybody in the audience, everybody has something that they like, and nobody deserves to be made fun of for it.
Well,
as long as it
also,
doesn't hurt anybody.
It
Sorry,
does
what?
sort of also, like, as unlikely as it is, it also makes things sort of awkward if you down the road then are on a stream with them or in a situation where you have to talk with the people who wrote these.
Mm-hmm. And
Like,
that would
just-
be interesting. I would not mind having Stellara Publishing, talk to us and tell us about the book when they get it done. So if you're out there and you're listening, Stellara Publishing, hey, consider this your open invitation.
I would be curious to see how they would answer that, but I think we all know how they would.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Might be worth reaching out to them, actually.
Yeah, we might.
Mhm.
We might.
Never hurts.
I do need guests for Dungeons and Discussions. So anyway, well, I think that about wraps it up. You know, like I said, I had a good week. I hope next week is just as good, or I hope you guys have had a good week for the most part. Does anybody have anything extra before we go?
Apparently, we were talking about Lorcana last week, and apparently Upper Deck is now suing the company that's making it over some sort of stealing of the.
I thought Upper
game.
Deck was the original publisher of it, or wasn't.
So apparently what had happened was a former employee from Upper Deck had gone over to work on it, and they're trying to say he effectively stole company secrets,
like took their system or something like that with them.
Yeah.
We should table that. We'll read the articles, talk about it next week if it's big.
Right. Sure. Right.
We'll see what happens. But
see what happens.
I would like to announce that I'm now officially co-host on Nerd Cognito with our boy Ryan here.
Hey,
welcome.
Excited for that, and you can expect a uptick in the number of F-bombs dropped on the podcast.
Nice.
Bleep 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 bleep
And,
bleep bleep bleep.
You know,
We
hillbilly
got our
perspective.
giveaways going away. We could.
That's right.
We got all sorts of shit given away. It's the last chance to get in for miniatures and Wretched Bastards and Temple of
I need to
Flesh.
get that.
So we've got two. We're gonna run 2 giveaways every 2 weeks until we're out, and people just keep stepping up with more and more stuff. The current one ends on the 14th. We draw on the 15th, and then on the 16th, we've got a legit hardcover version of Dungeons and Delvers, the 500-page beast.
Yes.
That's going out, and I haven't decided what's going in with Mr. Gwill's book, but we got stuff all summer. So
you don't need anything to go with that book. That book is perfect.
I have a copy of it somewhere.
Oh yeah, I do too. I've shown it off on the channel before, but yeah, that's a monster book.
It's and it's spectacular as well. So
yeah, it is.
Dave doesn't get enough mentions or props for this, and when he said, he was joking with me. He said, I'll put it on sale until Ryan David buys a copy. So I finally bought a copy, and then he said, you know what, I'm going to give you guys a copy to give to one of your fans. But now every 2 weeks, 2 gifts. All you got to do is we want to get both Twitter and the podcast subscriptions to the magic 1,000 numbers. So subscribe to the podcaster on any platform, Apple, Spotify, that sort of thing, and find the promotional tweets and do the stuff after you've subscribed to T-Shirt here on YouTube. So we all got to take care of each other, and T-Shirt's not big enough that I can't still give him a good reach around. So
that's right. Thank you.
And the only thing that I'm sad about is that I should have waited a month so I could have won that book. Damn.
What's this, Ironcaster? You got something?
Oh no, I was just gonna pull up his Twitter just to give us the visual.
Oh,
just show off a couple of minis that he's like.
Oh yeah, those minis are amazing. Bad photo, great minis. It's a goblin tribe with their ogre leader, and that's the goblin jester that everybody is gaga
everybody wants
for.
that. Yeah, he looks like the old Warhammer. Crazies.
Yeah.
What are they called?
Goblin Fanatics.
Fanatics, yeah, with their ball and chains.
Those were always fun. Though you did end up killing your own army more often than not.
Exactly. That's cool.
So that's courtesy of Giant Slayer Games.
Yeah.
Also a friend of the show.
Oh, and Ryan, I already won the Wretched Bastards stuff, so just send it right on. Yeah.
I'll just let Syl know, right?
Yeah, I have looked into the future, and I already won it, so just have her send it to us.
It is 100% legitimately. I put it into a random table and push the button and then tweet it out. That's it.
Oh,
so
okay.
No frills, no favoritism. As long as you've done this stuff, you're eligible.
All right. Well, I think that all wraps it all up. So can I say, guys? Just thanks for hanging out with us this week. I think we had a great week, and hopefully next one will be great too. I'm looking forward to doing some fun stuff. So.
Go play with your toys.
Yeah, go play with your toys.
Cool.
Yes. And just remember, Bath Mat loves everybody.
What can I say? I like everybody. Everyone is welcome here. Come on down, sign the contracts. We've got a spot for you here. We don't discriminate. We treat everybody equally down here in hell. This has been your Lord Baphomet telling you, stop playing with dice. Go play with some boobies or something.
I think you can go out on that.
There you go. All right.
Yeah, we can't top Baphomet.
We can't top Baphomet. All right. See y'all.
On behalf of the staff of the Independent California Motel, I wish you all sweet dreams.
Wake the fuck up, samurai. We have a city to burn.